Hello and welcome back to the Bobby and Beardy Show, or should I say welcome back to Beardy's big corner of spooky Spookum. Today Beardy will be telling me all about A Quiet Place Day 1, because as usual I don't watch spooky stuff, and there wasn't anything else for us to both watch this week and stuff, so we're doing a spooky doopy horror show, whatever I called it a second ago. It's too early in the morning. It is 8 a.m. due to scheduling. Here we are. We're having a great time. Beardy, it's early, but how the devil are you?
I'm good this time. Always tired, but that's expected, and it's 8 a.m., which is too early for me.
Same. I should be working right now, but I'm going to start
after
late.
This, I've got a 4-hour drive after this for work. I am very tired. But yeah, good in general. Obviously, last week I was away with work again. Managed to sneak away and see a film, as usually do. Saw Day of the Dawn of the Night of the Day of the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes or something. Whatever the name is now. It was
the late afternoon of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, it was fine. It was a little obvious. It was basically human bad. Fair play.
No,
but we're not talking about that today. Human bad, apparently.
No, I refuse.
Yeah, it was fine. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It was fine. So then I saw this, and I want to point out this isn't a scary film, by the way. The Quiet Place Day 1.
Well, that's actually one of my I have questions about how spooky it is, because the trailers make it look not very spooky at all. But because I haven't seen the others, I'm just like, I just don't care. Yeah. Like with this exact same reason why we didn't review Apes is because I haven't seen the original, the newest trilogy. So when this one came out, I went, I don't want to watch 3 films, and I don't want to watch just an ape film now. I don't know, CGI apes. I don't know. It doesn't grab me. I don't know. Anyway, you asked how I am. I'm fine.
Yes.
You know about my painting disaster. Bathroom was looking glorious. My frog tape ripped all my paint off a wall because I didn't leave it to cure long enough. You live and learn. You learn to read instructions on frog tape, perhaps, that tells you that. I watched England come back last night. You told me they were losing, and I put it on to laugh at them for the last 15 minutes, and then they went into extra time after a late equaliser and bloody won, and I was furious. first Euros, any match of the Euros I've watched this tournament, and but I'm well. I've joined the swimming pool. I'm going to start swimming again. I'm going to try and lose some of my post-wedding chunk because I started eating cake again post-wedding, and I've put on a few of those pounds, so those pounds need to leave me now. Thank you very much. I enjoyed you while I had you, but be gone. Right, yeah. Let's crack on with your review. I'll give you the rundown as usual. So, A Quiet Place Day 1 is an apocalyptic horror film. We'll talk about that in a bit, though. Written and directed by Michael Sarnowski, based on a story he conceived with John Krasinski, original writer director. Did you know, by the way, Michael Bay is a producer on these films?
Yes.
Blew my mind when I read that. You learn something new every day. This is the 3rd installment of the A Quiet Place film series, serving as both a spin-off and prequel. This film stars Lupita Nyong'o, said that mostly correctly for once, the supporting cast of Joseph Quinn, Alex Wolff, Jamin Hunsu, who reprises his role from the second film. Not that I know, because I haven't watched it. The release date in the UK was the 28th of June 2024, with a budget of $67 million dues, American, not Australian, which is the biggest budget so far, slightly up on part 2, which is around 55 to 60-ish million. The original had a budget of 17 million. So, wow. I'm going to ask you if you can see the difference in spending there. Worldwide box office as of last night when I wrote these notes was 98.5 million, which is a franchise best, at least domestically in the US. I couldn't find the worldwide specifics for like opening weekends for the Quiet Place 1 and 2, but it's doing well. Just so you know, as a reference, Quiet Place 1 made $341 million dues, American, not Australian, total, and Part 2 made just under 300 million, 297. So we'll see how well this one does, I suppose, but looking strong so far. Interestingly, I thought this was a really I mean, it came out post-COVID, so it's a different kind of times, and on that 45-day release streaming service, which has crippled cinemas, as we were talking about in the previous episode. Anyway, there's the rundown. I know. I think I can guess the majority of the plot because I've seen the trailers and I've seen a lot of the trailers. They've been out for a while. They have been pushing this film hard, which is one of the reasons why I don't think it's a spooky film. One of the reasons why I think I know most of the plot. But Beardy, let us know, what was the story about?
So it's obviously, makes you say, prequel to the Quiet Place films. So the idea, you're following Lupita's character. She ends up in New York for reasons, and then the day one event happens where the creatures arrive and people don't know what's going on. Chaos ensues, panic.
Should have watched the first two films. They'd have known what was going on if they watched the first two films.
Exactly, yeah. If only they could look 400 days in the future, like, it'd be really useful. Yeah, it's pretty much the story of people figuring out what's going on, how to survive, how to be safe. It's obviously very much centered around New York, and that has its own interesting elements. Compared to the previous films, there seems to be more built-up area, which is nice. In the first film, it's very much one family and sort of farmhouse area. Second one, it's a bit more of it's almost same family and sort of traveling a little bit, but still more open spaced. Seeing this in an urban environment was quite nice. I do think that added to budget costs. There's more things to build, there's more things to damage, there's also more people, more extras.
More people to damage.
More people to damage. More CGI needed. There's a lot more of the creatures in this, because dense population, compact area. But yeah, it's very much the story of Lupita's character kind of going around and trying to survive? Question mark.
Question mark. And she has a cat as well. Cat.
Yeah. Also, apparently she was terrified of cats before this. She had to go through...
Who is terrified of cats? What?
Apparently her. I had to go through some therapy to help, like... the big question is, does the cat survive?
Well, I'll add it to my questions. Does cat survive? So spoiler talk. Goddamn better survive. Yes. I swear to God, if any animal ever dies in a film, I will kick off. Okay, brilliant. Thanks for the cheeky rundown. I'll start you off with a question. It's not as spooky as the previous films, is it?
So to be fair, obviously my spooky meter is slightly skewed and I may be slightly damaged mentally. But these films aren't scary. Like, they don't really fit into the horror genre to me. Technically, obviously, they are monster films, so they technically need to fit it, but they're maybe action thrillers at best. There's a couple of jump scares, but they're not even, like, very well... They're massively telegraphed. Like, you see what's happening. It's not a sense of dread or threat. It's there's a big scary thing over there. It might be coming over here. Oh God, it's here.
I don't want that to come over. Oh no, it's coming over. Maybe I should stop shouting so much.
Yeah. Obviously, like, there are elements of this where people are trying to work tactically and they don't know what's going on, so the jump scares are pretty good. Again, there's a bit of dread where there's people trying to sneak around past them. Fine, but it really isn't a horror. I know technically it has to fit there because, like I say, monster film, but it's not scary at all.
Yeah, I must admit, I do get that vibe from the trailer. The first couple of trailers, I was like, oh, I reckon this would have me on edge a lot, and then this one, I'm like, I'm not sure. Which leads me to my second question. Oh, go for it.
I was gonna say 1 and 2 had more elements of fear, but there was more towards feeling like you might have something to lose, which again I'll have to go into in spoilers. But yeah, it was more about the potential loss rather than, oh my God, that's scary. Makes sense.
So my question I was going to ask was, does this premise of, because I assume everybody knows about the Quiet Place monsters, which are, shut up, don't make a sound. They're gonna bloody get you. If you come in and making a ruckus, they're gonna bloody get you. Does the premise of alien monster that's attracted to sound that will rip your head off. Does it hold up in the third film, or is it same old, same old? I've seen this before. Do they reinvent it in a way, or does it just continue to be quite a strong gimmick?
So I like the story as a premise, but I do want to tell you a tiny story before going into this. So, first film I saw whenever it came out. I'm very much a fan of going to cinema, getting snacks. It props up cinema earnings, and I want cinemas to stay open. So I go in, buy my drink, buy my popcorn. I sit down like, this is going to be a great film. It looks fantastic. I like John Krasinski. The concept sounds fantastic. I sit there, I eat a little bit of popcorn. Film starts, I eat a little bit of popcorn. It's quiet for an hour and a half, and every time I eat, people are like, what the fuck are you doing? Very annoying. So second film didn't do that. Third film I did, because this film does it slightly differently. It is not quiet very often. It's quite loud. The beginning of the film and most of the trailers like start with the idea of like New York City has a constant noise level of 90 decibels, which is the same as a constant scream. And they do a really good job of having a film where you need to be quiet, where there's quite a lot of noise, which adds to the action, adds to the drama. At some points where it quietens down, but it's an interesting twist on this needs to be a quiet time. Oh my god, it's not quiet.
Yeah. I like that.
But it's also expected for day one when people don't really know what's going on. Like, spoilers for the first film, I guess, but they don't really find out until like day 400 after the invasion that loud noises or high-pitched noises hurt the creatures. So it kind of makes sense that it took them very little time to realize noise bad, stay quiet, but they don't know what noise is and how to survive and how to get by. Like, there's a really nice scene where it starts raining quite heavily and there's noise on like a metal roof, and they realize as long as they keep underneath that ambient noise, they can do things, because creatures, like, they'll realize quite quickly that like noise from a fountain or noise of rain and stuff, they have to kick down a door and they time it with thunder. Makes a lot of sense.
How do they do that?
Or lightning comes before thunder.
Yeah, they've got to be pretty damn accurate. That's got to be consistent lightning and thunder.
Weirdly accurate.
Yeah, because even if there's like a proper storm going on, you're like, okay, so lightning happens 2 seconds later, it's close. The thunder kicks in. You've got to be bang on the money. Otherwise, you're going to be kicking slightly before or after, I would say.
We shouldn't be questioning that element of this film.
No, like, this is the hill I'm dying on, actually. I'm bloody furious about the precise accuracy of a kick during a thunderstorm. No, this is unacceptable. It's getting a zero thumbs from me, I tell you that much, as a result. What did you think of the cast and the acting and all that good stuff?
Very good. I think you mentioned, or I read, I can't remember if you actually said it. It was nice to see Digimon Honsu come back as his reprising character from the second film.
Yes, I did.
I like seeing that. You did. It was
It was me.
Casting was good. I think the cat stole the show. Yeah, no, mainly follows two characters. I'm bad with names, so I'm going to have to scroll very quickly. So Samira, main character, and Eric, secondary main character, who kind of turns up a little bit later. The relationship between them is really well. The chemistry between them is like, it's not really a romantic thing, but they work really well. It's very much a, I don't want you here. Okay, I'm going to follow you. Okay, well now we're friends. It goes quite well. It works quite nicely. The casting's really good. I think some of the recording choices, like the videography, is quite nice as well. They do a really good play on light and dark. Obviously, the thunderclap sections and with the rain is really, really nice. They play with focus quite a lot, purposely defocusing areas, which is an odd choice, but it works for the film. Obviously, there's a play on silence and noise. There's a lot of contrast in this. Some of the sound design really, really nice. And again, specifically, like I think thunder in films can be overdone. They purposely go heavy, they go loud, they go deep. This sounded more realistic, and I quite enjoyed it. Plus, I was in a cinema this time where all the speakers worked, which was nice.
Oh, well, that was one of your big problems of Day of the Afternoon of the Planet of the Apes, is the cinema.
Exactly.
Forgot to turn on all their speakers. I remember you telling me. Dear, oh dear. Disaster. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm glad you think the so much of the cinematography and stuff, because I like a beautiful film and things like that. I'm going to surprise you with a pop quiz though, unfortunately, in the middle of this review, as I like to do. So, as we know, this film, surviving in this film, is all about shutting up and knocking off that bloody racket on my lawn like an old man waving sticks. But there's some loud animals on the old planet, aren't there? Which of the I've actually got the top 10, but I want you to name me the top 5, if possible. If you get 3 of the top 5, maybe I'll buy you a beer. Which of these animals is absolutely doomed? Essentially, I want to know which of these animals, these monsters and aliens are definitely going to wreck day one.
Okay.
So you got a couple of guesses, I suppose, and if you do well enough, I'll buy you a lovely pint of your favourite lemon and lime cordial.
Nice. You made it sound like you were going to give me choices. I'm okay with not having choices. That's fine. I will just say things straight away. Howler monkey has to be up there.
A howler monkey, not in the top 5, unfortunately, but it is placing in 6th place, the loudest land animal, as their howls can reach up to 128 decibels and cover an area of 3 miles.
Okay, in which case you've specifically said land animal. So all the others are not land animals.
Well, I see that's their definition on this website I stole. I would argue some of them probably still near land, but well.
Blue whales I know are loud.
Now the whales are an interesting choice because the blue whale, largest animal on Earth, can produce a loud whistling call that reaches to 188 decibels. These calls can travel up to 500 miles. However, the blue whale is not the loudest whale. It's actually the sperm whale, making the sperm whale the loudest animal. So I'm gonna give you a whale. I'm a nice lad. It makes a series of clicking noises that reach as high as 230 decibel, making it the loudest animal in the world. The clicks last for only 15 to 30 milliseconds, but stay audible to a sperm whale for as much as 10 miles away. So, pretty impressive.
I want to say, I can't remember if it's pistol or mantis shrimp.
The tiger pistol shrimp. I'm being very generous. It's technically in 2nd place on this list, but if you count the whales as 2 different things, it's in 3rd. Tiger pistol shrimp are unique and interesting animals found in the Mediterranean. They have a claw that shoots jets of water at very high speeds. The speed is so high that it creates an air bubble. When the bubble implodes, it creates a shockwave that kills any fish in range of 2 meters. It's got an air rifle, essentially. It also creates a sound of about 200 decibels, which is louder than a gunshot, apparently. Also, and this is far more interesting, the implosion of the bubble creates temperatures at its centers as high as the sun. What? Incredible.
We need to be harnessing the power of the pistol shrimp.
Yeah, what the heck? I'll give you one more guess, but there's a good selection of top 10 animals here for you.
Oh, I don't know any particularly loud birds. I'm going to say macaw, but I know it's not.
Kakapos belong to the parrot family, and these are the loudest bird. Their mating calls can reach 132 decibels and cover 4 miles. Then you've got an insect, a cicadas, is how I'm saying it, the green grocer cicada.
Cicada.
Cicada. See, this is what happens when you don't check how things are said.
Cicadas.
Cicadas cicadas actually makes sense when you read it like that. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to call them cicadases from now on. The cicadas, they seem to attract males, and the noise can reach in excess of 135 decibels and travel a mile. So it's interesting how some are louder, but they travel further and things, even excluding water and stuff like that. There's also various bats that make a big old sound.
Good point.
And then the top 10, lions, hyenas in 9th, grey wolf in 8th, elephants in 7th, and then howler monkeys in 6th. So there you go. There's your top 10.
I do want to ruin your game a little bit, though.
No, I don't think so. This is according to the internet.
No. You said which of these animals would be, I can't remember the word, but basically screwed in this scenario. The big spooky monsters don't like water. The whales and the mantis, the pistol shrimp are fine. They're absolutely fine.
Well, also the pistol shrimp's just going to ruin them with its laser cannon of air
Yeah.
and soaring temperatures of the sun. So they're absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I tell you what, that blue whale in the National Museum of American History that's hanging, that's doomed though, if it ever makes a sound, which it doesn't. Anyway, so if anything of that's wrong, people in the comments, I stole all of that from hushcitysp.com/uncatagorized/top-10-loudest-animals. So blame them if anything of that is wrong. There you go. There's my little quiz. Back to your review.
Yeah, unfortunately with these sort of films, because it is more thrillery based, to discuss most of it, it does need to be in spoilers. But before we move on to that, I do just want to say, like I say, it was recorded nicely, it was well acted, the storyline was good. I do think, as I said, the cat was a fantastic character and a good element. I refuse to agree that the cat, in the entire time, made one noise. Like, not realistic. Fine. Samira, sorry, Lupita's character, very, very good, really, really good backstory, which is made apparent straight away. And I do like the twist on this type of story, which obviously we'll touch on in a second. But I do think Joseph Quinn, Eric, his growth as a character and his fear is acted outstandingly, really, really well.
Marvelous. Well, shall we head into spoilers and you can tell me a bit more freely about stuff?
Yes, so I'm going to give it a thumbs up. It wasn't.
So.
Yeah, it was fine. Like, again, it's not scary. I want scary, but it's not. The first ones weren't terrifying. This one was less scary than some of the others, but it follows the same vein. And to be fair, the more you know about them, the less you need to be scared. Makes sense.
The scariest thing from this franchise appears to be the fact you couldn't eat your popcorn. So
yes,
and we both.
This time I couldn't. I only ate like a third of it.
Okay, we're in spoiler town, big time spoiler town.
Yep.
I've got two questions. Does the cat survive?
Yes.
Good. Second of all, this is New York. Do they have the New York trope of New Yorkers rise up to fight the evil that's invading?
No.
0 out of 10. I'm not interested. What are we even doing here, people?
Okay, so I'm going to go through what the actual main storyline is. So basically, Samira is in a hospice. She has pretty bad cancer. They go to New York to watch a show, and it kind of all kicks off then. And it's a big plot point that she only agrees to go to the show because she wants to get New York pizza, because every pizza she's had recently has been terrible. Specifically, they wanted to go to Patsy's Pizzeria in Harlem, which, by the way, apparently is the pizzeria that is the originator of the New York style of pizza. And it's a big draw for her, and she has a history with it. Yeah, whole thing. Anyway, it's obvious straight away, at least was to me, that this isn't like the other ones. It isn't I'm trying to survive. She is dying anyway. She knows she's dying. This is now a quest for a little slice of life before the inevitable happens. It's very much a final quest, a final journey to add some value to her final days, whatever. Which I very much like. Again, we know that I'm not the biggest fan of too much happy endings. So the fact that it has a dark element to it, dark twist to it all the way through, really, really like that. She very much is quite surly anyway, wants to be on her own. But she stumbles across Eric partway through, who we see him first time. He's kind of emerging from a subway that's flooded, and he seems to be quite confused about what's going on. So he sees her. Well, actually, he sees her cat. The cat leads to her, and then he's like, "I don't know anyone else here. You're my friend now. I'm following you," which softens her surly nature after a while. The relationship between them is just outstanding. The change from not exactly enemies, but dislike to how involved they are in each other. Like I say, it doesn't really give a romantic element. Maybe there is. People could read it that way, but it's just they need each other. They help each other. He tries to make her last hours, her last days, whatever, better. it's a really nice sort of social commentary of emotion and humanity in the end of the world, and I do kind of like that twist. Usually something bad happens and it always goes to humanity is bad, everyone is bad. As soon as something serious happens, we show our true colors, and this is, well, he's just being nice, and she gets softened by it.
That's just monkey propaganda that we're bad.
I knew you were going to kind of. Are the apes? They don't have tails. The apes, not monkeys.
Damn dirty apes telling us we're bad.
But yeah, it's really nice, and I'll go through a couple of scenes that I really enjoyed along that storyline. But one of the things I really wanted to cut to first is there's a really big sort of moral dilemma in this. So New York is obviously where it's based. The military instantly realise, they don't like water. We're going to blow up every bridge. Keep them trapped there.
Seen in the
solid
trailers.
Plan. Yeah, these things can jump insane distances, so maybe not the most solid plans, but solid plan. And one of the guys, they're trapped in the theatre at the beginning. One of the guys kind of sees this, freaks out, starts making noise, and Digimon Honsu's character is trying to quieten him. Because it's very much, if you keep making noise, we're all going to die. And he's trying to quieten him, he's trying to be nice to him, and he pushes a bit too hard, and he kind of has to kill the guy. And he does it with his son watching, which, like, he sees his son, he tries not to do it, but it's now very much it's him or us.
Mm.
And I'm fully on board with he had to do it. Like, this guy was unfortunately going to get everyone killed. Like, it was a bit of a breakdown. I'm not blaming the guy for it. Totally understandable. But God, it's a dark thing to his character have to make a decision to break a moral code with his son watching. But if he doesn't do it, his son's probably one of the first that's going to die. Like,
yeah. I want everyone to take notes, by the way, that in the apocalypse, when it comes, Beardy will turn on you instantly, and he'll be like, yeah, no, this is fair. Survival.
I have such a good boundary with my morals. So yeah, stay away. Yeah, very nice scene, very well done. It was a good amount of drama. Now, obviously, as I say, the main storyline is she wants to go get pizza before she inevitably dies. She's also looking for medication because pain with cancer treatment, which is totally fair. And yeah, it's just this panic to go to Patsy's. They try and get there. A whole slew of things kind of come up about her parents and why Eric's there on his own. And it's also, again, because I dislike happy endings, they get to Patsy's and it's all burnt down and broken and there's nothing there.
Well, I mean, obviously it was. I mean, like,
yeah, it's also like 5 days later, and they're trying to get pizza.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have some focus, but at the same time, come on, lads.
Yeah, but so
imagine if it was fine though.
Open for business.
Like this beacon of light and a normal queue outside pizza. There's like this 20-foot radius of perfection around this pizza place, and the second you step over the threshold, you just get got.
Yeah, after they see Patsy's, they go to a bar where her dad used to play piano, and she's drinking her sorrows. He wanders off, finds her a pizza from somewhere else, brings it back. There's a whole nice little scene about him trying to make her smile, brighten her time. Like, it's really, really nice. The relationship between them is the main story. Everything else is secondary, in my opinion. Which is, again, it's an interesting take on it. I guess, really, with the first films, the relationship between the family is the main thing, and the creatures are secondary. So it does kind of follow suit, actually. I didn't think about that until just now. I should make better notes. I do like that, as well, and again, we're in spoilers now, she helps Eric get away. Like, she wants to stay in New York. She wants to die. She knows she's going to die. So she does a lot to help him. There's boats that are taking people away, which the whole boat situation makes no sense. Like, they know noise is bad. Yes, water is safe, but noise is bad. And the boats keep honking the horns when they're about 20 meters away. These things jump much further than that. So it makes very little sense to me. But hey-ho. It's kind of, again, obvious to me from about a third of the way through. But Lupita ends her character's role, suicide by monster. she listens to a lot of like jazz because her dad used to play piano in like jazz band and stuff. And at the end, she's been charging her iPod. She takes her headphones out and it's connected to the speaker dock, and it kind of cuts away just before it happens. It's a nice ending. Like I say, it's happy for her, but it's not over the top happy, which again fits my narrative nicely. The ending for me was great. I really enjoyed it.
Happy, same time.
Yes. Yeah. It was good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Brilliant.
Interesting take.
Well, I think it's almost time to wrap up. So I'll basically just ask the same question I asked at the start of the review, which is, in case you've changed your mind on it, which is, does the premise hold up for a third film? Do you think it's still a strong enough franchise for people to get invested in? Or has it reinvented itself?
No, it's. I do think you think of it more of a spin-off rather than a prequel. Obviously, storyline-wise, is a prequel, but it doesn't feel like the first two. The actual aura, the atmosphere is different. I think the premise can stand up a lot longer as well. We've done a lot of one family's struggle in this world. Now we've gone back to the beginning of people don't know what's going on in this one person's story. It would be interesting to do a month in, a year in, like just see how
28 days, 28 months, 28 years later style kind of vibe.
Yes, yeah. And it would be interesting in at least one of the films to see the devolution of society and humanity. Like obviously that is kind of mentioned in the first two films, but maybe make it a little bit darker. Maybe add a human element rather than again like a 5-minute section of it. The entire film is based on that.
Are you trying to make humans bad? Are you falling down to that goddamn monkey propaganda again, sir? Unbelievable.
Maybe I have.
Final question. Would you watch more of these films?
I absolutely would. Yeah, I do really like them. I just, like I say, they're not horrors. That's the only thing to me. They're just not horrors. I wanted a scary film.
Fantastic. Well, there we go. There's Beardy's Spooky Dookum Corner of Spooky Dookum review of A Quiet Place Day 1, the prequel sequel. Spin-off thingy booble. I'm going to do the outro this time because I want to. Thank you so much for watching and listening. As always, we are on Spotify. If you don't want to just see our handsome faces on YouTube, you can listen to us there. Links in the thingy bobbles. You can watch me on Twitch Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, more often than not, on Bobby Android. You can find him eventually when he does start streaming again. He will start streaming again at McBeardy. You can also follow me on Instagram at Bobby from Twitch. Same as Threads, though I don't use Threads. And he technically has an Instagram, but I'm going to leave it up to him if he wants to share it.
Not for now.
Not for now. So yeah, you can. I post snippets and things occasionally, and food. Mostly food. I post food. I'm going to be honest, it's food. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll be back soon with another fantastic review, and hope you have a great week. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.